多倫多公車局會公開拍賣部分報廢嘅街車，一般都由團體投得。但一個24歲嘅年輕人以個人名義投獲一部街車，為嘅係一份保存文物使命感。李詠如報導。
若果有人買咗部二手車，車上有脫落嘅零件，車身生鏽，甚至座墊上有污跡，部車已經行唔喐，一般大眾都會覺得有冇搞錯咁嘅車都買。但當呢啲問題被看成係特色，咁又唔同講法啦。就好似對於 Alex 嚟講，呢一切所謂嘅缺陷，都係呢部二手車最有價值嘅地方，因為佢買嘅唔單止係一部車，更係一個時代嘅見證。
I definitely really am enthusiastic about this streetcar and the streetcar model, the Canadian light rail vehicle, because it's unique to Toronto. These streetcars only operated in the city of Toronto and nowhere else in the world, so it's very much a unique piece of Toronto history. Also, if you think about iconic Toronto symbols, the first thing that comes to mind is probably the CN Tower. I think anybody would think of that. But after the CN Tower, I'd say it'd be this streetcar because it's so unique with the big circular light on the front, the big red vehicle. This CLRV comes to mind when people think of Toronto. So kind of considering those two things, it's a piece of Toronto history that's worth saving. There weren't many that were saved, so I'm happy to be one of the people who were able to save this piece of history for the future.
多倫多公車局 TTC 嘅車輛喺報廢之後以公開拍賣嘅方式出售，其實並唔罕見。不過今次拍賣嘅係已經退役嘅經典街車款式，而且 Alex 係唯一一個以個人名義獨得嘅買家，呢個情況就非常有趣啦。
These streetcars, we had 10 that we put up for auction because it was the end of this particular model of streetcar. So we made 10 of them available, and I think we sold 4 or 6 of them, and then the rest went to the scrap dealer that had already arranged to buy the streetcars. So we had a number of people that were interested, a couple of museums. Usually people who buy these, they want to restore them for historical purposes, or they want to maintain them for historical purposes. Alex was a bit different because he wanted one just to put on his farm, which is fun. But that's quite unique. We don't usually see that.
啱啱碩士畢業嘅 Alex 仲未揾到工，就毅然購入一部廢棄嘅 TTC 街車。喺好多人眼中，呢種行為看似任性，原來佢父母並唔反對。
So I didn't just bid without knowing what I was getting myself into. First thing I did was ask my parents if I could use this family farm as a place to store the streetcar, and after some discussion with them, they agreed that I could.
Alex 對呢部編號4187嘅街車情有獨鍾，因為係佢睇過咁多部拍賣嘅街車裏面覺得質量最好嘅。但如果有人競投嘅話，佢就唔會再落注，亦唔會考慮再投其他編號。Alex 覺得自己好好彩，睇嚟拍賣結束只有90秒嘅時候投標，喺毫無競爭對手之下，以拍賣底價3400蚊加幣，另加稅同雜費，即係大概4000蚊加幣，投得呢部深水街車。雖然 TTC 有指定運送車輛嘅公司，但買家要自己去揾呢間搬運公司估價同安排運送。從確定交易成功當日開始 ，Alex 有1個月嘅期限籌備運送。呢個過程絕對唔簡單。喺運送之前 ，Alex 要先喺自己個農場建造一條軌道去承托部街車，避免街車因為重量而喺平地塌陷，再喺上面鋪滿碎石去鞏固軌道。Alex 嘅爸爸更親自落手建造呢條60尺長嘅軌道。
Well, at first I thought it was going to be really hard, and then I think we deceived ourselves and said, no, we can do this. I did have some doubts in terms of meeting the time frame because, we had to put in 160 tons of gravel. We had to find rails and try to stay within a cost that just seemed reasonable. So, in some of the hot days when we were leveling and pounding spikes, I did have some doubts. It's like anything else, if we were to do it again, it would sure be a lot easier, but there were a lot of people that helped along the way too. That's what was really exciting.
Alex 呢個壯舉得到家人嘅全力支持，更有本地鐵路公司喺得知情況後捐出部分零件，幫助建造軌道。喺完成安放街車嘅工程後 ，Alex 終於可以安排搬運公司將街車運送到位於 Priceville 小鎮嘅農場。從多倫多出發到呢個小鎮需要2個鐘車程。 然後由 Alex 同家人朋友接手，用拖拉機將街車拖進軌道。拍賣價連運費同手續費 ，Alex 總共使咗8000幾蚊加幣。佢就冇諗過要用街車嚟作商業用途回本，最多提供俾遊人影下相，收返啲保養費咁。畢竟佢購入街車嘅原意其實係想保育，為多倫多保留一份歷史遺產。Alex 同呢部街車嘅關係就好似一段25噸情緣，佢自己就用緣分嚟概括成個過程。
There were a lot of factors that I was very lucky with that made it happen. Biggest thing being my family having this farm. That if COVID didn't happen, I wouldn't have been back in Ontario, and if I wasn't in Ontario, I wouldn't have been able to bid on the streetcar. So there's all these strange little confluences that happened and made it work. Just the fact that I saw that this advertisement for this link for the streetcar being auctioned off online, the fact that I came across that on Facebook, I was very lucky too, because the TTC didn't widely advertise that the streetcars were for sale, so I very well could have just missed the auction also as well. So yeah, a lot of luck, a lot of little pieces all lining up together helped make this happen. So kind of was destiny in a sense, yes.
一部曾經喺多倫多市中心中環馳騁為大家服務嘅舊款紅色街車，總算喺多倫多以外揾到佢退休後嘅歸宿啦。
好啦，今日節目時間又到，下星期再見。